call Colum, Eastwood.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the OFMDFM committee for bringing forward this motion. I think, as the chairman said, it is very important that we focus our energy on the massive implications that Europe has for the north of Ireland. It's the air we breathe, it's the water we drink, it's sometimes the roads we drive on. Unfortunately, not enough of the roads we drive on in this part of the country have been funded to any great level from the European Union. And I think there's major lessons that we can learn from our counterparts across the border in that regard. I personally would like to see this Assembly showing an even greater commitment to the European project and a greater understanding of the implications that Europe has for us here. I think it would be an idea for us to have a European committee to focus solely on European issues. It's such a wide and vast area of policy and implication that we do need a dedicated committee, I think, to look at it, and I think that's one that we should seriously consider. I think the South teaches us lots of lessons around how we can engage with the European Union, with the European Parliament and with the European Commission. I think there are people from the executive and from here based in Brussels, and we met them when I was a member of the committee. They're doing very good work, but we really need to up that level of engagement. Every department in the South have people embedded in Europe. I think that's a lesson that we could learn. I think we're good at understanding that this is an implication for us around agriculture, but it also has a massive potential around other sectors of our economy. The Horizon 2020 fund will be a massive opportunity for this part of the world to benefit. And unfortunately, at the minute, the OFMDFM committee were told that our drawdown is likely to be in the region of £100 million. And we're told that the Irish government expect to draw down €1.25 billion. That's a fairly big difference to what we're expecting to draw down. If we were going the Dublin estimate in terms of population, we should really be looking at drawing down around €400 million. So I think we need to learn the lessons of FP7 and really up our game with regard to developing those links in Europe. Gladly, yeah.
Thank you for giving way. Is the member aware of a DT and Dell cooperation in setting up a support network to engage with all the stakeholders in trying to up our gear on approaching Horizon 2020?
The member's an extra minute.
Thank you. Thank the member for intervention. Yeah, I am aware of that, and it is a good step forward. But we're clearly nowhere near where we need to be. 100 million instead of 400 million is a fairly stark figure. The opportunities around Horizon 2020 have yet to be grasped here. I think they're just better at it in the South because they have years and decades of embedding civil servants over there and understanding all the opportunities that we have. And not everybody in this House would class themselves as being pro-European, but even if you're not, the opportunities are there around all those things. In the North, we currently get about £39 per person in terms of research funding. In the South, that's £185. That's a very big difference, and it's an opportunity I think our universities and our government need to be looking at even more vigorously. There are also massive opportunities around the Green New Deal. We don't really have a Green New Deal here. I would like to see one. There's major opportunities in Europe, given the fact that some of the recent occurrences around Russia and Crimea and the Ukraine. Energy supply and security of energy supply is one that we should be very, very concerned about. They don't have the same difficulties in places like Scotland because they do have a very reliable energy supply. So I think we need to be using Europe and asking Europe to help us invest in green jobs, in green industries, and working alongside the European Investment Bank to do all of that. So we also need to be mindful, given the recent debates that we've seen on the TV with Nigel Farage and the Deputy Prime Minister of Britain, that whatever happens in Westminster, the impact of a British withdrawal from Europe would have a massive impact here compared to anywhere else, given the fact that a very large amount of our trade is done with the Republic. We need to be very mindful that any attempt to remove Britain from the European Union would have a very detrimental effect, in particular to this part of the world. I would argue, and a lot of business people would argue, that it would have a massive effect on Britain anyway, but it would have a really detrimental effect on the north of Ireland, given the fact that we have a land border with the European Union. So I welcome this motion, and I would encourage the Executive to up their game, up their ambition around this, because the figures really speak for themselves.
Time
Thank you.
And I call Ms Anna Lowe.